Hi, my name is Maria, and today I'll be telling you about osteosarcoma. So, you're probably asking yourself right now, what is osteosarcoma in the first place? So, it's the most common type of cancer starting in the bones, and it is also called osteogenic sarcoma. It's most commonly affecting kids, teens, and young adults, but it can occur at any age. There are three grades of osteosarcoma, and they're determined depending on how fast the cancer is likely to grow and spread to other parts of the body. Osteosarcoma usually occurs in the fast-growing bones, so usually either around the knee or in the arm close to the shoulder. But it can occur in any body of the bone, like the pelvis or jaws, and other places like pelvis, jaws, etc., are more common in older people than in kids and teens. The three grades of osteosarcoma are high-grade osteosarcomas. Those are fast-growing. They don't look like bone if you look at them under the microscope. And most osteosarcomas in kids and teens are high grade. Examples for high grade osteosarcomas are osteoblastic osteosarcomas, chondroblastic, and fibroblastic osteosarcomas. And then there is the second type. Those are the intermediate grade osteosarcomas. That is the most uncommon type, and it falls between high grade and low grade osteosarcomas. And an example is the periosteal osteosarcoma. And then there's the low grade osteosarcoma. Those are the most slow growing osteosarcomas, and they look more like normal bone if you look at it under the microscope, and you can only see a few dividing cells if you look at it under the microscope. Example for low grade osteosarcomas are periosteal and intramedullary osteosarcomas. Next up, we got the treatment. So the treatment depends a little bit on the grade of osteosarcoma, but it usually goes like this if you have a for high grade. So first you do a biopsy to determine what type of tumor it is, and yeah, just like plan how you're going to treat it. And then you usually start with chemotherapy for about 10 weeks. Um, and then do surgery to remove the tumor. And then you possibly can do radiation therapy to the area of the tumor if you got like some cells left and stuff, and not everything could be cleared in surgery. Then there's another round of chemo for up to a year. And rarely, especially in older people, surgery can be the first treatment you do, so you do it before the first round of chemotherapy. And if the tumor is non-resectable, the same process is used, obviously, except for the surgery, until surgery is possible, or you just keep doing it to relieve the symptoms and keep the tumor under control. And for non-resectable tumors, it's also possible that you do a clinical trial of a new invented treatment. And for low-grade tumors, or low-grade osteosarcomas, it's usually enough to just remove the tumor through surgery, and then usually you're done with it, but sometimes you do have to do some chemo. Next up, we got the prognosis. So the prognosis depends a lot on your age, on the stage of the tumor, on the type of the tumor, and other factors like that. And the survival rate is usually higher in younger kids and teens than it is in adults. But if you have to take an average for a stage 1, which is a low grade, so we're like a slow growing tumor, and it's local, so it hasn't spread anywhere yet, the survival rate is over 90%. And then for a stage 2 tumor, which is like a high grade tumor, so a fast growing tumor, and it's still local, so it hasn't spread anywhere, that's very different depending on the size and location of the tumor. And also, like, other factors. But on average, the prognosis for this stage is between 50 and 60%. But again, it depends a lot on your age, the location, and stuff like that. And then stage 3 is any tumor that has already spread to the body. So it doesn't depend if it's low grade or high grade. If it has spread to any other part of the body, it's stage 3. And that has an average survival rate of 30%. But again, that also depends on your age and stuff like that. Next up, we got some statistic. So on the left in the like purple diagram, that one shows the total of the newly diagnosed cases of osteosarcoma in the USA each year, and that's about 1,000 cases per year. And so in the lighter shade is how many of those newly diagnosed cases per year in the US are adults, and the darker purple is in kids. So you can see that it's about 50-50. So about half of the people that are diagnosed with osteosarcoma each year are kids and teens. And then on the diagram on the right, you can see how many cases of childhood cancer are osteosarcoma. So the whole thing is the cases of childhood cancer, and then in the darker shade of blue, you can see how many of those are osteosarcoma, and the lighter shade of blue is pediatric cancer with other cancers than osteosarcoma. So you can see that osteosarcoma makes up about 2% of pediatric cancer cases. Yeah, and if anybody's interested, we got our sources here. And yeah, that's it for osteosarcoma. It's like a brief overview, so if you'd be interested in any more specific tumors, treatments, and stuff like that, you'd have to do a little more in-depth research. But yeah, it's a brief overview, and yeah, that's it.